Good evening, Australia. Now, as of today, 2,500 Victoria teachers has been stood down because they refuse to take the booster, which is from the vaccine mandate that you must take the booster or otherwise you'll be stood down. Also, the same is also happening in non-territory. I don't know how many teachers have been stood down, but I'm sure there's a significant amount of them that has been stood down because of this vaccine booster mandate. Now, Victoria and Northern Territory are the only two states that only have the booster vaccine mandate for the teachers. Now, this is a huge mistake by these two governments because these teachers are very angry, I'm sure. These 2,500 teachers, 2,500 teachers, half of them are very angry and sad because they will lose their jobs soon. Now, as a ex-hospital worker who lost my job due to the vaccine mandates, I fully understand. You are now in my position as of today. You're being unvaccinated. You're being in the category of unvaccinated, even though you've taken 2 shots. I haven't taken 1 shot at all, which led me to be suspended almost 6 months ago, and I'm being fired from my job on November.
Come out to Melbourne reporter is
Now, okay. Now I know that all the teachers and any Australians who are reading right now are very angry right now because there's 2,500 more teachers soon gonna be joining the unemployment line for the Centrelink, or they're gonna have to use their own savings to feed themselves. Now, the only way, in my opinion, that you can really fight back at the government is by number one, show up at every protest starting or as of Saturday in Melbourne or Northern Territory in Darwin to join all the unvaccinated people or the vaccinated one that are not willing to take the booster anymore. You can join us because that's one of the ways that you can vent your anger at the government and your employers who force this back booster mandate on you. Secondly, the coming election in about 3 weeks' time, this is your chance right now to take revenge on this government and the employers who suspend you. Because even after the election, they are not gonna reinstate you back. Especially if the current government wins or the Labour Party, they will definitely fire you and say that you haven't taken the booster shot. So this election is your chance that you vote every one of the major parties out. That's include Labour, Liberal, and the Greens. You must vote for any political party or political candidates that is pro-choice, anti-vaccine mandates, plus pro-freedom of choose, which is your only chance to really bend your anger, plus fighting back against this government and your employers, which is the school principals and the school boards who suspended you, and sooner or later they'll fire you, no doubt, without a doubt. Now, the better news is Western Australia has followed suit. Follow Victoria. Now they're easing, as of tomorrow, they're easing all the restrictions, easing not all of them, but they're in line with Victoria, which means that everyone in Western Australia can enter pub, library, disco, nightclub, museum, etc., without having to show the vaccine passport or your vaccine app on your phone, which is really improvement. But unfortunately, just like Victoria as of last week, all the unvaccinated people or the people or anyone in any profession who refuse to take the booster mandates, refuse to take the booster vaccine, which is 3rd or 4th shot, will not be able to get employment in all walks of life. same as Victoria. So which is another blow to Western Australians, not only as Victorians who starting as of last Friday, but this Friday, Western Australia has followed Victoria's suit. And I'm sure Northern Territory is going to follow suit too, sooner or later, or South Australia. And of course, to all Western Australians, all the ones who show up in freedom rallies, needless to say, but all the ones who are angry that they took two shots and they are not going to take the booster shot, you are now in line with all the unvaccinated people, which is on the unvaccinated category. So your only hope, again, as I said, turning up at all the Freedom Rally protests every Saturday at Perth, start as of this Saturday. And also, as I said, this election, vote all the major parties out. Otherwise, you got no chance to fight back at all after this election. If the major party still gain majority, you must vote for a political party, the political candidates that pro-freedom and pro-choice. Now, to a better note, New South Wales, in line with which is simultaneous to Victoria, have lifted all the vaccine mandates, which means New South Wales, I must really say congratulations to all New South Welshmen who really you are eligible to apply a job in all walks of life without having to show your vaccine status. And plus, you don't have to, of course, you don't need to show your vaccine passport and the vaccine app in your phones when you enter anywhere, any place in New South Wales, from libraries to nightclubs, pubs, libraries, museums, etc. But, however, in regards to the vaccine mandates, here's the tricky fact of the New South Wales government under Dominic Perrottet. He is using the same trick as those red state governors in America, especially those under red state Republican governors. They are using the trick, which is on the front they say, oh, on our state, there's no vaccine mandate. We're pro-choice, pro-freedom. But however, in the red states, there's a lot of, or if not, a significant amount of the counties and the big metropolis and big cities that are under Democrat control, under the red state. And they are having the vaccine mandate and plus the booster mandate. I'm sure even right now they're doing it. And the red state governor didn't know or didn't want to hear, or they just put a blind eye to it. Which means this is which means they wrap the package on the front. They say there's no vaccine mandates, but underneath they still have vaccine mandates for you which is under the Democratic controlled cities and counties under the red state governor's watch. This is the same as New South Wales, because the New South Wales government have pushed all the responsibility to all those the major corporations, the corporate Australian large companies like Woolworths, Coles, and Telstra, you name it, or even some of those bad bosses in the medium and small businesses who are willing to carry out the mandates. Even the government tell them that there's no mandates. This is really, really the trick that the New South Wales government is in line with the red state governors in America. So New South Wales, please be aware of that too. Don't get complacent, because if you are applying job in New South Wales, you in one of those big Australian companies or the corporations or those multinational corporations, they can still have vaccine mandates, such as a booster mandate. Otherwise, you can't just apply for the jobs. So we have to fight too, New South Welshmen too, which is starting on from the 14th of May, which you have to Canberra rally. But if you can, attend any freedom protest rallies in New South Wales, any New South Wales town, in not just Sydney, but also any New South Wales town. Okay. Again, as I said, you have to, all the people in New South Wales, especially New South Welshmen, attend any single freedom rally in all the New South Wales big cities, towns, if you have one, all right? Or if not, try to organize one, and don't just wait until the 14th of May, which is the weekend line, which is the big rally. And plus, needless to say, you must vote for the right candidate, the right ones who are pro-choice, pro-freedom, who's willing to scrap the vaccine mandates when they come on power. On 3 weeks time, all right? Otherwise, if the major parties won, you got no chance to fight back at all after this election. And I doubt if there any or will be a fair election after this election. And we all seen what happened in the French election and the American election, how they can rig the election. So this is your chance, Australia. Maybe this is your last chance to have a really fight back from what you have endured in the last 2 years. Regardless, you're the 2,500 teachers suspended in Victoria, or those teachers suspended in non-territory, or like us Victorians and Western Australians who can still go to pub or nightclub to have a few drinks, a library, or anywhere you want, but you still can't work, still can't apply for a job to earn savings and feed your whole family and yourself, and to pay rent. We endured this for the last 2 years already. This is enough already. Enough is enough. Even though we got no lockdowns and only New South Wales has no vaccine mandate, but this is not enough. Nowhere is enough. We have to abolish all the vaccine mandates, and every single bureaucrat, premier, and the prime minister, and all the political parties who support this vaccine mandate, after this election, if not sooner or later, have to stood down and face trial. In the Royal, not only in Royal Commission, we all seen what happens in the Royal Commissions in the past history of Australia, especially the 1996 Royal Commission, which have achieved nothing. And also, I forgot to say that, of course, the New South Welshman, you're lucky that you got all the vaccine mandates abolished. But however, when you look for a job in those big companies and corporations, they still have vaccine mandates. So you have to virtually find some of the smaller or medium-sized companies, but which is a gamble. Again, whether they will ask you, have you taken the vaccine yet? You're just like gambling for work. So we still have to fight on until they abolish all of Australia, totally abolish the vaccine mandates, every one of them. And also, of course, a few days ago, the Age News has said that the Australian government had paid a lot of those big corporations, as I named before, to keep the vaccine mandates going, which means that this government has got collusion with these big companies to use the vaccine mandates to force out those employees, or even stop anyone unvaccinated to apply for the companies. So this is your chance to fight back now, Australia. As an ex-hospital worker, central sterilization worker who lost my job 5 months ago, nearly 6 months ago, this is my message. We have to attend a rally starting as for tomorrow. To all the teachers who were suspended in Victoria, Northern Territory, to the West Australians who gain only the freedom to go everywhere, but you can't work, and also the Victorians as of last week, plus the New South Welshmen who so-called got their freedoms back from abolishing the vaccine, which is only a show pony, but it's not good enough when the corporations still having when all those big corporations still having those vaccine mandates. That's not good enough at all. So we have to start on this Saturday, attend every freedom rally in your cities, big cities like Perth, Darwin, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. But you can find any freedom rallies in town and attend them. Start as of this Saturday. Plus, on this election, again, as I said to you, both for the minor parties to oppose and abolish all the vaccine mandates, plus pro-freedom of choice. Thank you very much, Australia. And please, to all the freedom-loving people, all of us who fight together against the vaccine mandates, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if that includes everyone in the last 2 years who fight against these vaccine mandates, lockdowns, and attend all the rallies, please subscribe to my channel, Australian Hong Konger, which we can support one another in this time of needs. Thank you very much. Good night, Australia.